Let me tell you something most people don't realize. The first voice you listen to in the morning becomes the loudest voice in your life. And for too many people, that voice is a notification, a headline, or someone else's opinion. But imagine this. Before you touch your phone, before you scroll, before you react to the world, you stop and thank God. Not for what you're hoping for what you already have. Because gratitude is not polite behavior. Gratitude is power. Gratitude is alignment. Gratitude is access. When you thank God first, you're telling heaven, I trust you more than circumstances. And when heaven hears trust, heaven releases increase. Your breakthrough doesn't begin with hustle. It begins with honor. Start your day with God and you won't spend your day chasing peace, clarity, or favor. They'll start chasing you. Let me slow this down for a moment because this right here changes everything. Gratitude is not a feeling. It's not something you do when life finally works out. It's not a personality trait. Gratitude is a spiritual strategy. And most people miss it because they think Thanksgiving is a response to blessings, when in reality, Thanksgiving is what activates them. See, the world teaches you to wait. Wait until the money shows up. Wait until the relationship gets better. Wait until the breakthrough arrives. Then be thankful. But heaven works in reverse. Heaven says, be thankful first, because gratitude is seed. And whatever you sow, you give permission to multiply. Think about that. When you wake up and the first thing you do is complain about how tired you are, how hard life is, how slow things are moving, you just planted a seed. You planted a seed of lack. You planted a seed of frustration. And seeds always grow. But when you wake up and before you touch your phone, before you check messages, before you let the world tell you who you are, you lift your voice and say, thank you, God. You just planted a different seed. You planted peace. You planted expectation. You planted increase. And here's what most people don't understand. Gratitude is not about pretending everything is perfect. Gratitude is about declaring who's in control. You're not thanking God because every bill is paid yet. You're thanking him because you trust him to handle what you can't. You're not giving thanks because the door already opened. You're giving thanks because you know he's the one with the keys. Gratitude shifts your posture. Instead of showing up to life with clenched fists, you show up with open hands. Instead of striving, you're receiving. Instead of begging, you're believing. And that shift changes everything, because heaven doesn't respond to panic. Heaven responds to faith. And gratitude is faith in audible form. Let me say that again. Gratitude is faith in audible form. When you thank God before you see results, you're announcing that you expect results. You're telling the invisible realm, I already know how this ends. That's powerful. That's alignment. That's authority. Most people start their day consuming. They consume news. They consume social media. They consume other people's problems and opinions. And by the time they finally think about God, their spirit is already cluttered. But when you start your day with gratitude, you take control of the atmosphere. You decide what gets first access to your mind. You're not reacting to life anymore. You're leading it. And understand this, whatever you honor grows. If you honor fear, fear grows. If you honor lack, lack grows. But if you honor God with thanksgiving, favor grows. Ideas grow. Peace grows. Opportunities grow. Gratitude magnifies what you focus on. Some of you have been praying for increase, but you've been speaking decrease. You've been asking for overflow, but you've been rehearsing shortage. You've been believing for breakthrough, but starting every morning with stress. That's mixed signals. Gratitude brings alignment between what you say you believe and how you actually live. You don't need a longer prayer. You need an earlier thank you. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need perfect words. You don't need an hour. Sometimes it's as simple as sitting on the edge of your bed and saying, thank you for waking me up. Thank you for breath in my body. Thank you for another opportunity. Thank you for direction. Thank you for provision I can't see yet. That right there recenters your soul, because gratitude reminds you that you're not self-made. It reminds you that every good thing comes from above. It humbles you, and humility attracts grace. Here's the secret. Gratitude trains your eyes to see differently. When you live thankful, you start noticing doors instead of walls. You start recognizing lessons instead of losses. You start seeing progress instead of pressure. Gratitude upgrades your perspective. And consistency is what makes it powerful. One thankful morning feels good, but a lifestyle of gratitude transforms everything. Day after day, you're building spiritual momentum. You're rewiring your thinking. You're creating an atmosphere where increase can live. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you absolutely control how you start your day. And how you start your day determines how you experience your life. So tomorrow morning, before you reach for that phone, before you scroll, before you let the world rush into your spirit, pause, lift your voice, and thank God, because when gratitude goes first, blessings follow. Let me take this a little deeper, because what you honor in the morning doesn't just influence your day, it governs it. The first thing you give your attention to becomes your authority. That's not poetry, that's principle. Attention is currency. Whatever gets it first gets access to your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, and eventually your outcomes. Most people don't realize they're surrendering control before they even leave their bed. They wake up and immediately reach for their phone, notifications, messages, headlines, other people's emergencies, other people's opinions. And in that moment, without even knowing it, they've handed leadership of their day to distractions. They've allowed the world to set their pace, their mood, and their mindset. But hear me clearly. Whatever you put first becomes first. If you put your phone first, you're saying convenience leads you. If you put social media first, you're saying comparison leads you. If you put fear-based news first, you're saying anxiety leads you. But when you put God first, you're declaring that purpose leads you, peace leads you, and wisdom leads you. That's alignment. See, mornings are sacred. They're not just the start of a schedule, they're the foundation of momentum. The tone you set in the first few minutes echoes through the rest of your day. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your rituals. And your morning ritual is telling on you. Some of you are praying for clarity while starting your day in chaos. You're asking for direction while feeding your mind noise. You're believing for discipline while practicing distraction. That's not how alignment works. You can't expect divine order when you begin in disorder. When you choose to honor God first, something powerful happens. Your spirit comes online before your stress does. Your faith speaks before your fears do. Your purpose wakes up before your problems do. And that changes how everything unfolds. Because now you're not reacting, you're responding. There's a difference. Reacting means circumstances are in control. Responding means you are. And honoring God first teaches you to respond from peace instead of panic, from faith instead of frustration, from vision instead of survival. Let me say it this way. Your morning focus becomes your daily flow. When you start with God, your steps become steadier. Your decisions become clearer. Your emotions become calmer. You carry a different presence into every room. People feel it. Opportunities recognize it. Favor responds to it. And it's not mystical, it's practical. Whatever you feed grows. If you feed your spirit first, your spirit leads. If you feed your flesh first, your emotions lead. If you feed fear first, anxiety leads. You're always being led by something. The question is, what did you choose this morning? Some of you are wondering why your days feel rushed, scattered, and heavy. It's because you're starting in reaction mode. You're letting alarms, alerts, and algorithms dictate your atmosphere. But the moment you slow down and acknowledge God before anything else, you take your authority back. That's why this is so powerful. It's not about religion, it's about leadership. You are leading your own life, and leaders decide priorities. Leaders don't let devices tell them who they are. Leaders don't let urgency override purpose. Leaders establish order. And when you honor God first, you're saying, I don't serve time, I steward it. You're saying, I don't chase peace, I carry it. You're saying, I don't wait for alignment, I initiate it. That's maturity. And watch this. When God becomes your first conversation, everything else becomes easier. Hard conversations feel lighter, big decisions feel clearer, pressure loses its grip. You stop walking into situations already depleted because you've already been filled. People think they don't have time in the morning. That's not true. You make time for what matters. You scroll, you check messages, you respond to notifications. The issue isn't time, it's priority. And priority is revealed by placement. What you place first reveals what you value most. So tomorrow morning, don't let your phone be your first voice. Don't let the world be your first influence. Let God be your first focus. Give him the opening moment of your day, and you'll be amazed how the rest of your day starts lining up behind it. Because when God goes first, everything else finds its proper place. Let me show you something most people never connect. Thanksgiving doesn't just make you feel better, it moves things faster. Gratitude activates divine acceleration. And that's important because a lot of people don't need new information. They need momentum. They don't need another strategy. They need movement. They don't need more hustle. They need alignment. See, prayer asks, faith believes, but gratitude confirms. When you thank God before you see it, you're not being optimistic. You're being prophetic. You're declaring the outcome in advance. You're saying, I already trust you with the result. And that level of trust releases speed. Think about it. When someone thanks you before you even finish helping them, doesn't it make you want to do more? Gratitude pulls generosity forward. The same principle works spiritually. Heaven responds to trust faster than it responds to desperation. Most people pray from lack. They pray from pressure. They pray from panic. And there's nothing wrong with asking God for help. But when asking is all you do, you stay in a posture of need. Gratitude shifts you into a posture of expectancy. You move from I hope to I know. From maybe someday to it's already in motion. That's acceleration. Because gratitude tells heaven, you can trust me with increase. It signals maturity. It signals alignment. It signals that you're not just focused on what's missing, you're grateful for what's already moving. Some of you have been wondering why things feel delayed. And sometimes it's not resistance. Sometimes it's alignment that hasn't happened yet. God is always on time, but acceleration happens when your faith and your gratitude meet. You see, impatience slows you down. Complaining slows you down. Constantly talking about what's wrong slows you down. But thanksgiving speeds things up. It clears spiritual traffic. It opens invisible doors. It removes unnecessary friction. Gratitude is like green lights in the spirit. When you wake up thanking God, you're telling your future, I'm ready. You're telling opportunity, I recognize you. You're telling favor, you're welcome here. And here's the part people miss. Gratitude doesn't wait for evidence. Gratitude creates evidence. Most people say, I'll thank God when it happens. But faith says, I thank God because it's happening, even if you can't see it yet. Even if you don't feel it yet, even if it doesn't look different yet. That's how acceleration works, because what you celebrate in advance, you attract in reality. Some of you are closer than you think. The door is already opening, the idea is already forming, the connection is already aligning, but you keep measuring progress by what you see instead of what you believe. Gratitude teaches you to move by faith, not by sight. And listen, this doesn't mean you ignore challenges. It means you refuse to let challenges dominate your focus. You acknowledge the obstacle, but you magnify God. You recognize the pressure, but you exalt the promise. Gratitude keeps your eyes on the source instead of the situation. That's why two people can be in the same circumstance and have completely different outcomes. One complains and stays stuck. The other gives thanks and moves forward. Same problem, different posture. Acceleration doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from trusting deeper. When you thank God in advance, you're saying, I believe you're working even when I can't see it. And that kind of faith shortens seasons. It compresses timelines. It turns waiting rooms into launching pads. And consistency matters. This isn't about one emotional moment. This is about daily practice. Every morning, you're either slowing your progress or speeding it up by what you choose to focus on. Every morning, you're either partnering with frustration or partnering with faith. You don't have to understand how God is going to do it. You just have to trust that He is. Gratitude keeps your heart soft while life is shaping you. It keeps your spirit open while doors are forming. It keeps you aligned while things are rearranging behind the scenes. Some breakthroughs don't come with noise, they come with peace. And peace is often the sign that acceleration is already in motion. So don't wait until everything makes sense. Don't wait until every answer shows up. Start thanking God right now, because when gratitude leads, delay leaves. Let me bring this home, because your words are doing more than you think. Every time you open your mouth, you're not just communicating, you're creating. Your words are setting the atmosphere of your life. Long before situations shift on the outside, they shift on the inside through what you say. Most people wake up and immediately start rehearsing problems. They speak tiredness, they speak stress, they speak shortage. I don't feel like it. This is going to be a long day. Nothing ever works out for me. And they don't realize they're prophesying their own experience. Every morning is a blank canvas, and your words decide what gets painted on it. You don't wait for good days, you create them. That's why gratitude in your mouth is so powerful. When you start your day with praise instead of panic, you change the climate. You shift from survival mode into authority mode. You're no longer letting circumstances dictate your emotions. You're letting faith lead your expression. Because here's the truth, life responds to language. Two, the same way thermostats control temperature, your words regulate your environment. If you keep speaking cold, don't be surprised when things feel frozen. If you keep speaking heat, don't be shocked when pressure rises. But when you speak gratitude, peace moves in, clarity shows up, hope gets louder. Some of you have been praying silently while speaking negativity out loud. You've been asking God for miracles in your heart, but canceling them with your mouth. You can't keep declaring defeat and expecting victory. Your mouth has to agree with your faith. And this isn't about hype, it's about alignment. When your words match what you believe, power flows. When they don't, you create resistance. That's why gratitude is so important first thing in the morning. It brings your spirit, your mind, and your mouth into agreement. Let me say it this way. Your future is listening. Your children are listening. Your body is listening. Your finances are listening. Your assignments are listening. Every time you speak, something is taking notes. So when you wake up and say, thank you, God, today is a good day, I'm blessed, I'm favored, I'm guided, I'm protected, you're not just saying nice words, you're issuing instructions. You're telling your day how to behave. And notice, gratitude doesn't deny reality, it defines it. You might still have challenges, you might still have pressure, but you're choosing to frame your day through faith instead of fear. That's leadership. Most people let their feelings lead their words, but mature people let their faith lead their feelings. They don't wait until they feel strong to speak strength. They speak strength until they feel it. They don't wait until peace arrives to give thanks. They give thanks until peace arrives. That's how atmosphere shifts. Because when praise goes up, heaviness comes down. When thanksgiving fills your mouth, anxiety loses its grip. When gratitude becomes your language, limitation stops sounding normal. And listen closely, what you repeatedly say becomes what you eventually see. Some of you keep saying you're stuck, so stuck keeps showing up. Some of you keep saying it's hard, so everything feels heavy. But the moment you change your language, you change your lane. You move into a different flow. You start saying, God is ordering my steps. You start saying, things are working together for my good. You start saying, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm advancing. And suddenly, you're not just surviving the day, you're shaping it. Your words either build bridges or dig graves. They either open doors or reinforce walls. That's why mornings matter so much. Before the world fills your mouth with complaints, you fill it with gratitude. Before stress tries to speak, you speak peace. Before fear shows up, you announce faith. Because whatever you speak first sets the tone for everything that follows. You don't have to be loud. You just have to be consistent. Even a quiet thank you carries authority when it comes from belief. So tomorrow morning, don't let silence give way to worry. Let gratitude take the microphone. Speak life over your day. Speak favor over your future. And speak peace over your path. Because when your mouth aligns with heaven, your life starts moving in that direction. Let me finish this by showing you why the small, consistent moments matter more than the big emotional ones. Most people are waiting for a breakthrough day, a breakthrough prayer, a breakthrough experience, but transformation doesn't usually happen in explosions. It happens in repetitions. It happens in what you do when nobody's watching. It happens in the quiet discipline of showing up again and again. Consistency turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. You don't build strength by lifting once. You don't build wealth by saving one time. You don't build peace by praying one morning. You build it by repeating the process. Small habits, practiced daily, compound into massive results. That's how God designed life to work. And gratitude is one of those habits. It may feel simple to thank God every morning. It may feel small. It may feel like it's not doing much. But don't let simplicity fool you. Seeds look small too until they grow forests. What you do consistently carries more power than what you do occasionally. Some of you are frustrated because you're looking for instant change while ignoring daily alignment. You want a miracle, but you don't want a routine. You want overflow, but you don't want obedience. But heaven honors patterns. Heaven responds to rhythm. When you wake up every morning and choose gratitude, you're building spiritual muscle. You're training your mind to look for good. You're teaching your heart to trust. You're conditioning your spirit to expect favor. And over time, something shifts. You don't have to force positivity anymore. Peace becomes natural. Faith becomes automatic. Hope becomes your default. That's compounding. At first, it feels like nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, roots are forming. Perspective is changing. Character is strengthening. Capacity is expanding. And one day you look up and realize you're not the same person you used to be. You handle pressure differently. You respond to challenges differently. You see opportunities where you used to see obstacles. That's the power of consistency. Breakthrough doesn't usually announce itself. It sneaks up on disciplined people. Most people quit too early. They try something for a week, maybe two, and when they don't see immediate results, they stop. But consistency requires patience. And patience is proof of trust. When you keep thanking God, even when things look the same, you're saying, I believe something is working, even if I can't see it yet. That's mature faith. And here's what happens when you stay consistent. Your identity changes. You stop being someone who occasionally prays and start being someone who lives connected. You stop being someone who reacts emotionally and start being someone who responds intentionally. You stop being someone who hopes for change and become someone who expects growth. Because habits don't just shape outcomes, they shape people. Your daily gratitude is quietly building confidence, discipline, clarity, and resilience. It's teaching you to lead yourself. And when you can lead yourself, life becomes easier to manage. Consistency also protects you on hard days. When disappointment hits, your habit holds you. When stress shows up, your routine steadies you. When motivation drops, your discipline carries you. You don't fall apart because you've already built a foundation. That's why this matters so much. You're not just thanking God for blessings. You're building a system that supports your future. And don't underestimate how this spills into every area of your life. Gratitude sharpens your focus. It improves your relationships. It increases your productivity. It strengthens your faith. It positions you for favor, all from a simple daily decision to honor God first. People will look at your life and call it luck. They'll say you're fortunate. They'll say things just work out for you. They won't see the quiet mornings. They won't see the private thank yous. They won't see the discipline behind the difference, but you'll know. You'll know that your peace came from practice. Your clarity came from consistency. Your breakthroughs came from obedience in small moments. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait for motivation. Start tomorrow. Start simple. Wake up, pause, thank God. Do it again the next day and the next. Let it become who you are. Because when you stay faithful in the small, God shows up in the big. And that's how ordinary mornings turn into extraordinary lives.